Well, good morning once again, and welcome to Chattin' with Chuck, right here on the wave 105.9, and we're here each and every Wednesday morning at 8 o'clock, bringing you many interviews from folks throughout our community and the area. It all started back in July, and we're going to talk a little bit about that and visit with General Manager Ian Leppin and also Jim Bligh, who's in charge, Vice President in charge of operations as far as the video portion, and hear a little bit about how you can find Wave TV. We're not on TV, but we're going to explain all of that and all the many programs that are now available on the Wave Christian Hit Radio. Right now, we want to recognize our sponsors, and as we do so and go to our first break, I want to mention those sponsors, if I might. Scott Ellis, Allstate Insurance, Wabash Barbecue, Nico's Eatery and Catering, Constitution Tribune, Bogie Stone, Hutchison and Company, Allied Insurance, Cincinnati Jeweler, Woody's, and Investors National Bank. We'll take a break, and we'll be right back with Ian Leppin, General Manager of The Wave. Well, welcome back to Chattin' with Chuck, and I visited with Ian Leppin and Jim Bligh prior to doing the program today, and we thought it was, the holidays, at least the first part of the holiday, and I won't get up on my soapbox right now about holidays and when they all start, but the fact is that Thanksgiving is now history. Our trick-or-treating is over, and we're really officially heading towards what I call the real holiday season, and that is Christmas time. And Ian Leppin, our general manager of The Wave, and I and Jim thought, well, hey, let's talk a little bit about the product that we serve, and that would be The Wave and Christian Hit Radio 105.9. So welcome aboard. It's been a while since you've been a part of this. We started out back in late July, and you were my first guest.
Yes, I was the first guest, but I'm more than happy to step aside. We've had a lot of great guests since we started. A lot of folks that come on to have a lot to say, and it's been great. All of the guests we've had.
Oh, it really has, and sometimes we've had 2 or 3 guests, but we've really, what I want to say, have gone inside on some of the stories, and I think that's what you wanted to. When we first talked about Chatting with Chuck, you said, well, we want a little bit of on the street, but we want to put it on the radio. And if you have any of that juicy gossip or somebody's coming to town or something new is happening, let's talk about it. So that's really how all of this developed on Chatting with Chuck.
That's right, Chuck. And since we've started, we've talked about the YMCA celebrating their anniversary. We talked about the brand new stadium at the high school. We talked about the new hospital. There's been a lot that's happened just since July, since we started the show, that we've been able to cover on this show.
Well, and maybe the next step is to bring Josh Norris on and talk a little bit about the water park, because they are making fast progress out there. The weather has been ideal, and last week and leading up to Thanksgiving and the holiday was just absolutely beautiful. To think that it's late November and 70 degrees.
Yes, that's right. We had a phenomenal Thanksgiving day, about 70 degrees that day. Things cooling off for the weekend, actually starting to feel a little bit more like November now. So.
Well, and like I said to somebody, it should be, when they were talking about the weather's going to change, I said, it's late November. Hello? Hey, before we go any further, congratulations. Ian Leppin, by the way, is Papa for the 6th time. Am I correct?
That's right, number 6.
So you don't have to pay any income tax now, I'm told, after you have 6 kids. I don't know whether that's true or not. You'll have to ask your accountant.
We'll know more after tax day. Yes, Saturday morning, the same Saturday as the holiday parade happened. We actually had a float in the parade. Our partners in education, Mrs. Good's 5th grade class, we had worked hard on a float, and I had warned them going into it, particularly the adults, that I might not be available, and that's interestingly enough, how it worked out. But Holly, who works here at the Wave with her husband Jason, and of course Mrs. Good and her husband helped out, and they got the float done just fine without me, which I knew they would, Chuck.
Well, and that's good, and I didn't get to see all of the parade, and there was parts of it I missed because by the time that I got over on Locust Street and got out, I had missed some that was behind me, and then I went inside to Jerry's there to visit a few minutes, so there were some things that were in the parade that I was not aware of. One of them, of course, was the class of the parade as far as the floats was concerned, and that was the Miss Missouri float, and it took the Grand Marshal's top prize and should have.
Yes, it was a very nice float.
But a great parade. That was speaking about that was a very busy weekend, and I know when I say busy, it was for you and your family and with the new arrival. But we had a lighting ceremony and had just a fabulous crowd at the Jenkins Christmas Village. The biggest ever. That's what people say that have been around a long time, including myself, that they'd never seen a crowd any bigger. And, of course, the weather was ideal. And then the next morning, the parade, another perfect day. That night, the Festival of Lights. Have you been through Simpson Park yet?
Yes, we went over there. I noticed that they've got some new additions there, including they lit the rocket slide this year, which I don't think they had done that previous years, had they?
No, they've got some ice skaters. They had some other families that made some donations. And, that would be a good topic to talk about. And we need to bring Barb Burton aboard and talk about the Festival of Lights. I think I'm doing this off the top of my head, but I think it started back in 2005. So that would make it the 7th annual. I might be a year off. But every year it's got bigger and better.
Yeah. It was very nice. Kids always look forward to it.
So anyway, with all of that now, and the downtown lights are on, the Christmas banners are up, and most of 90% of the businesses are decorated and through the Main Street program. And another thing that we could have a guest on and talk about, and I know that we've had Main Street. And we've had, our tourism director, we've had Chamber of Commerce, and we've had a lot of great programs. And, I guess that's the benefit of having a 30-minute program and having time that you don't sometimes have all the space to write about it. You don't have time sometimes on a quick bleep on a radio show to mention it in 10 minutes. And so extending the program and sometimes cheating a little bit, we have covered a multitude of things with people like you mentioned at the beginning of the show.
Sure we have. And I'll just let you know, too, that if you're listening to this on the radio or you're watching it on Wave TV, which we're going to talk about those two things here momentarily, that you can email me show suggestions if you have an idea of something you'd like to see on Chattin' with Chuck or somebody you'd like to have Chuck talk to, and we can certainly get that arranged. My email is ian@1059thewave.com. That's EAN@1059thewave.com. So feel free to email me and your suggestions, and we will certainly take those under consideration. We could use the help, right?
Well, and that's a good idea. And some of the things that started just a year ago, and I kind of wish that Rod Tompkins was here to just address and speak to those. But the Wave has been around in its 11th year now, correct? And, one of the things that have happened in the last year and a half have been nothing but good. I mean, you've added to your programming. We want to talk about that a little bit. You've added a sports show. You've added sports broadcasts that have never been on any radio here or in the area before. And a lot of new programming. So, but first of all, let's just go back to the beginning. The Overtime Show came aboard. Now it's the Coke Overtime Show, and you brought Rod Tompkins aboard to handle sports and do a lot of that. And since then, we've added the audio and video portion to the programming, not only for the Overtime Show, but for other events that are going on. But the Overtime Show is now in its second year, getting ready to start with basketball this Friday night, as a matter of fact, correct?
That is correct, and I'll take you back even a little bit further, Chuck. What kind of got us into the sports broadcasting, because that's something we were kind of a part of it, not locally. We've been a Missouri Tiger affiliate and a Kansas City Chiefs affiliate for quite some time. This is the first year that we were not a Kansas City Chiefs affiliate, and I teased a lot of people saying we weren't going to cover it this year, so I said expect big things from them, and that didn't really work out, but But anyway, we've been covering sports since almost the beginning, and then we kind of took a step. It kind of happened. It just kind of worked out. We had Larry Warren with the American Legion come by and discussed American Legion baseball with us, said that no radio station had ever covered them, and so we started thinking about the possibilities. It was through that process that we met Rod Tompkins, and then as baseball season went on, we started talking about the idea of this overtime show, and things have just kind of progressed from there. It's all been a very natural progression. We've had things kind of fall into our lap, if you will. We've had coaches call us and schools call us and say, hey, would you come cover this? And it's just been a really flowing, natural kind of progression through it.
Well, yeah, and by the fact that the overtime show was here, it developed other avenues, as you just mentioned,
Sure.
and they thought, well, hey, Christian Hit Radio, The Wave, but they're now doing this, and they're now doing this, and we had the opportunity a year ago to bring Lady Hornet softball from the state tournament with Rod Tompkins, and let's see, who was helping him with color? Wasn't that Mr. Baker helping him from with color from Springfield,
We've
Missouri?
had, honestly,
We've had a lot of guys
we've had
I
a lot
know,
of guys
and even
come in and out.
coaches.
So yeah, and even coaches come and
Tim
help
Cool,
us.
the Chillicothe coach, and Brian Upton, who,
Yeah.
by the way, started the basketball season last week with his opening game for Trenton with a nice victory, and so he's off to a good start. But those things we've built on as we've gone along, and it's brought on other things. Soccer this year, for instance, in Chillicothe was host to the district soccer tournament, and area basketball games and state games and tournaments, and the list goes on, and now you have I call it the real estate show, but it is Gaslight Real Estate. It's swap and shop in the morning,
Yeah.
each morning, Monday through Friday.
That was a deal that we worked on for I don't know, 6-7 months about pitching the idea to several different places. It's not a new idea, as you know. A lot of different radio stations do.
Different names, but all the same thing.
Yeah, they all do the same thing, and I'm not saying that I invented anything new, but we wanted to bring that kind of programming to the Wave as well, because it is a community service, and I know that there's a lot of places that get excited about coming up with programming that help benefit the public, like the swap and shop idea, and Gaslight Real Estate loved the idea too, and so they came on board as a sponsor, and it's been a great service that we've been able to provide.
Now, that, again, Monday through Friday, the time and what people can do and how they can get on the show.
It's every weekday, of the exception of, last week with Thanksgiving, with the holidays are always going to play into a factor, but every weekday, starting at about 9:05 to about 9:30. And folks, you can feel free to call in. Our number is 646-20-255. We encourage people to call in and be a part of the show. Let us know about items that you have to sell or items you're looking to buy. And, of course, you can email me. I gave the email already. I'll give it again. It's ian@1059thewave.com. Again, that's EAN@1059thewave.com. And make sure you put swap and shop in the subject line so I don't get an itchy delete finger. I get a lot of junk mail, So we'll make sure we get that printed off and put it in the folder for you. And, again, it's every weekday, 9:05 to 9:30.
And that's one of them. And, of course, about Chattin' with Chuck that started in July, 8 o'clock each Wednesday morning, a 30-minute show that is produced right here at the Wave station. We want to talk about how you can find out about Wave TV, and it's not on TV, but we're going to tell you all about that. And to help us do that, we're going to call on Jim Bligh. So we'll take a break, recognize our fine sponsors here, and then we'll be back with more on Chattin' with Chuck.
Piggly Wiggly is proud to be your locally owned hometown grocer, which means it's the only grocery store where the money spent in the store actually stays in the community. Featuring the best meat department in the area, where all the beef and pork is raised in the USA and cut and packaged right in the store. Piggly Wiggly Deli features delicious favorites like Champ's Chicken or Jack's Tenderloins. Dine in or carry out, lunch or dinner. Also available for catering any size with any menu. Book your next event through our deli department. Stop by Piggly Wiggly today for fast, convenient grocery shopping, exceptional meat quality, and down-home friendly family folks. Support hometown, support Piggly Wiggly.
This year, wrap up your holidays in an unforgettable way. Indulge your loved ones with jewelry as unique as she is, with gorgeous gold and exquisite diamonds in the latest fashions. It's nearly impossible to go wrong. From classic to modern, there are options for every style. She'll be enraptured by these timeless and colorful creations that are as affordable as they are beautiful. Let yourself get wrapped up in the spirit of the holidays with sensationally crafted jewelry from Lawhoff Jewelry and Gifts in Chillicothe and Trenton.
This is Brent Klein, owner of the New Woody's Automotive Group in Chillicothe. Over the past few months, our customers have been giving testimony over the radio, bragging about their wow experience at the New Woody's. The bottom line is that 99.8% of our customers expressed tremendous satisfaction with the price, selection, and treatment. Our customers were wowed because we give our best price up front, the same price, on the net and the car, trade or not, third-party verified to be among the lowest in the nation with no hidden tacked-on fees. The New Woody's Automotive Group in Chillicothe. Wow!
Like what you hear? Go to wowwoodies.com.
A lot of new programming has been happening here at the Wave, not just the audio portion, but now the video portion, and things are really changing in the broadcast world. Tell us one of the major changes that's happening.
Well, the internet TV, the kids today are dictating when they want to watch things. So they get on YouTube, they get on CBS, they get on whatever it is, and they can get online and watch it. They don't even want to TiVo it anymore. That's work. So everything is now kind of the now society, and the kids and the youth and the younger generation want things now, and that's what we're doing with some of the programming that we're doing here. Sports, different kinds of entertainments. We had the holiday parade. We taped it and put highlights of it up. We're doing coaches shows. We've got the Coach Tim Cool show coming. And
all on the website.
All on the website, and it'll be. I think our first show on that's going to be next Thursday. Chatting with Chuck, we get to see Chuck's beautiful face.
Well, how
there
about
we go.
that? So,
and that's always a treat. You know, like Chuck mentioned, the Coca-Cola Overtime show is been on the radio. Now it's on Wave TV. We do the Tuesday night game of the week already, which we're adding it to Wave TV. We did do some of those games last year on my former station, but we have now converted and now are all one. We're working together as 105.9 The Wave.
And your company that you formed and that you're selling a lot of things for, tell us just a little bit about that too, about your company, the name of it, and you know, how people can get those icons, and you know, where you can punch and go right directly to the programming that it might be.
Are you talking about my former company?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's still around, but we're slowly converting some of those Mudcat games and other graduation and things like that I have done in the past on SNN TV over to Wave TV.
SNTV is now Wave TV.
Is now Wave TV.
Right.
So, yeah, so we're trying to get all that information over so people can go back and look at the archived events.
Well, and a couple of those things, it wasn't in effect a year ago, but, you know, all of us were talking about it, and I think Rod was with us too, and we were speaking with Ian, and you were all in here, and just talking about how programming and radio has changed and what's coming, and this is what they're going to, isn't it?
Right, exactly.
Not only, and it's not like, you know, that the radio is going to go away. The radio is not going away. This is an addition to the radio. Would that be a good way to put it?
Exactly, and because all these programs pretty much we've mentioned are going to be on the radio as well. This is allowing us to also not only be on one, like your show. It airs from, what, 8 to 8:30, 8:40, somewhere in there every Wednesday morning, right?
Every Wednesday morning, 8 o'clock, usually to 8:30, 8:40, somewhere. Right. You're right on.
And so now the advertisers are getting double their money because now anybody can come back and watch it recorded in the archive of this event. So anybody that goes back and sees that is going to see that advertising again. So if you know, somebody works nights and they don't get up at 8 o'clock in the morning, they can come, and if they're interested in something Chuck's talked about, and can watch it or listen to it. They can also listen to it. Just once you get to the Wave TV portion of the website, hit the Chattin with Chuck, and that's where all the archives will be.
Well, you know, you can, if you got a computer, you can access it. If you have a phone, there's a way. I want you to explain to everyone the common folks out there how you access the website and get a program that's got the live audio and video, and how you can access it by your phone.
Well, we've got a web app now. It's the 1059 web app, and you have to download it to your phone. Some of the things you can view on it, some of the things you can't. So that's kind of a tricky art right now. The live stuff, you will have to go to a different third-party app, which is, I believe, Skyfire Q, and that will convert what we're doing over to that different app. So it's kind of a complex deal, but we're working on getting it.
The simple way for people to find the website for the program, like the Coke show, the Chattin with Chuck, Coach Tim Cool, some other shows that are coming soon that we'll talk about here with Ian before we wrap it up. The easy way for people to get there on their computer.
Just go to 1059thewave.com. Hit the Wave TV button. It's a picture of a TV that says Wave TV. Pretty simple. And just wander around throughout the website. There's all kinds of different stuff on there that you will enjoy. If you'll find something there for sure.
So you're telling me that people now have the opportunity, if Joe or Susie goes out here and sells some programming, let's say for Chatting with Chuck, they're not only getting the benefit of the radio portion of it, but they're getting the benefit of it being on the Wave TV website.
Correct.
Did I do that good?
You did that fine, Chuck.
For not knowing anything about it, I did pretty good.
You're coming into the 21st century very awesomely. We'll use a good word there, awesomely.
Well, and Jim, I know that you recorded the parade recently, the holiday parade, and there's been some other things, as you mentioned last year, baseball and Mudcat baseball, American Legion baseball, and what. So, all of these are great additions for the advertiser, and, the way that the Wave has expanded its programming, now there's just one more plus.
Well, and the thing is we've got monthly packages to where you can get everything that we offer: website advertising, Wave TV advertising, radio advertising. So we've become a multi-source of outlets for people to get their point out to the viewer, to their customers.
Jim Bligh, the guy behind the camera, the whiz with the computer and all the internet and computer technology. Did I say that right? That's the way you wrote it.
Sure, Chuck. Appreciate it.
Hey, Jim, thank you. And we're going to be back to wrap up Chatting with Chuck, and our special guest today, he made me do this, folks, the General Manager, Ian Leppin. Stay with us.
Jill and Daryl of Essential Needs Day Spa and Cafe, located in downtown Chillicothe, invite you to stop by for great food and to experience their variety of great services. Jill and her staff offer 30 and 60-minute massages and beauty services like hair coloring and styling, as well as pedicures and manicures. Daryl offers some of the greatest food in town with an extensive menu that includes breakfast served all day. Just stop by today at Essential Needs Day Spa and Cafe, located in downtown Chillicothe on the east side of the square.
With the Hy-Vee Fuel Saver Rewards Card, you can save big at the pump. Simply sign up at customer service, then shop our ad for weekly Fuel Saver products. For every one you buy, you'll earn a discount on gas, as much as $2 or more per gallon. Because the more you shop, the more you save. Sign up for the Hy-Vee Fuel Saver Rewards Card at customer service today and start to earn big discounts on gas. Some restrictions apply.
Hello, this is Nicole at Cross Connections Computer Essentials. Are you tired of driving all the way to the city for those computer parts that you just cannot find locally? Well, you don't have to anymore. We carry many computer parts and accessories that others do not. Also, with our speedy shipping service, we can order almost any computer part or accessory and have it here for you in 2 days. We also specialize in PC and laptop repair, networking, and repair of handheld devices such as iPads, iPods, iPhones, and most Android tablets and cell phones. So stop by today at 721 Webster Street on the north side of the square in Chillicothe. Cross Connections Computer Essentials, your hometown computer store.
Well, we want to thank Jim Bligh. He's back over on the camera side now for coming and visiting a little bit about the new programming, the new technology. As he told me after we went to break, now, Chuck, you're in the 21st century. So I thought I was there anyway, but didn't we leave one century and go to another back in 2000? So anyway, but Jim Bligh tells me I'm in the 21st century now, so I feel good, you know. But welcome back, Ian. And, you know, it was fun to have a show like this. When we originally started, we thought, well, you know, there's one thing we're going to do. We're going to visit about current events, and then later maybe we'll have call-ins. Well, our shows have been filled up with guests.
Yeah,
which is a good thing.
That's right. That's right.
So anyway, but tell us a little bit about programming now. I mean, you know, Christian Hit Radio in its 11th year, the Wave, 105.9, but now there's some additions that are available to not only the advertisers but to the people.
Sure. And Chuck, as far as the radio side goes, for the last 11 years, we've done several things. For instance, on Sundays, we've got a lot of local churches that buy time to have their services aired on Sunday morning. We currently have 3 churches that are airing their services on Sunday morning that they can hear right here on the Wave. Of course, we also have countdown shows that are on the weekends, and of course, Missouri Tigers Sports, as we talked about earlier in the show. And then, of course, you mentioned the Coca-Cola Overtime Show, which goes on during the sports season, which you and Rod Tompkins get to interview. Lots of guests there, too. Lots of coaches
every
call
Friday
in.
night. And, you know, from now till March, other than during the holidays when, well, actually, the NCMC shootout, William Gill tournament are going on, but the high school basketball at the schools is silent, but they're still playing basketball, and I'm sure that the Wave will be doing some of those games we did last year. Rod and I went up there and did a couple of ball games, and so you know, those are some other good things that are happening, and there's another good thing. Chillicothe High School coach Tim Cool is going to join the Wave.
That is in development. I know Jim has talked with Coach Cool about that, and so that is in the works right now. Also, we did this the last year on the Waves. We had what we called Showtime Tuesday night, where we highlighted a different basketball game from the area every Tuesday. We had a little hesitation about that because we thought maybe we might take a little flack for not just going and being loyal to one school, but instead we went out and we just grabbed different schools. You know, we went to 1A schools, we went to different size schools, and we actually found that we got a better response doing it that way. We had lots of response from, for instance, Green City. There were several folks in Green City that called us and begged us to come and cover the Green City Gophers, and so we did that. We went and covered
the Lady Gophers.
Games. And the Lady Gophers, that's right.
I've never seen the Lady Gopher, but you know, yeah, all those things are really good, and it was a good thing because it's something that those little schools, they do, a lot of them, the majority of them really, do not get unless they reach postseason play.
Right.
Is that radio coverage?
That's right. That's radio coverage. And now, as Jim said earlier, we're going to be expanding that to Wave TV coverage as well. So now not only can you listen to the game, but you can also watch the game on Wave TV. And, of course, there's opportunities there to either get a CD or a DVD of the game if you're a proud mama or papa or grandma and grandpa and you want to have that on DVD.
There you go.
Can certainly get that done as well.
So we've got the Coca-Cola Overtime Show every Friday night from 9 to whatever, you know, whatever we decide to quit with the host Rod Tompkins and co-host Chuck Haney. We've got Coach Tim Cool Show coming up on Thursdays here on the Wave, and then we've got Tuesday basketball that include Meadville, Southwest, maybe Milan, Green City, who knows, Gallatin, Hamilton, whomever or wherever that Rod and Jim want to take the show, right?
That's absolutely right. And we also have extra shows that we are in development on right now. I won't get into too much detail. We're talking to the folks that would host those shows, but we've got the possibility of a cooking show. Sorry, a cooking show. We've also got a possibility of a Chillicothe Arts Council show. We've been in talks about that. So a lot of things in development right now. So it is definitely an exciting time as far as things in the works. And so just keep your eye on our website, keep your eye on our Facebook page, keep your eye on the Wave TV page as well, and you can get updated at any one of those places.
Or, you know, as we might say, listen to the station every day, and the promos are there too.
That's right.
About what's happening and what's going on. So that's a little bit about us or them, however you want to put it, them being the Wave 105.9, the new programming, and the new technology that Chuck Haney has just joined in the 21st century, according to Jim Bligh. So be sure to quote people on the street about that now Chuck's in the 21st century.
That's
finally made it.
They're creeping towards the 22nd.
So anyway...
One more thing before we go, Chuck, that I
yes.
want to say. This week... we're letting people know about our Christmas promotion, which is going to be starting on December 1st. It is the 12 Days of Christmas promotion, and so be listening to the FM side. We got a lot of promos running for that now. Essentially, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to listen to the Wave starting December 1st through the 12th. Every day there will be a Christmas song of the day. I want you to write that down, title and artist, and keep them in order, because on December 13th, we're going to start taking calls, and the first 5 people that can call back and tell me all 12 songs, title and artist, and in order, is going to win $100 in Wave Christmas cash to spend at our sponsors.
Oh, but unfortunately, Jim Bligh and Chuck Haney and Ian Leppin are not eligible.
That's right, we are not eligible.
And then those that don't work here, like Rod Tompkins, they're eligible, right? And Jim can tell him that, too. Oh, well, we have a lot of fun. And, and also, besides that, with the holiday time, that even more reason to listen to the Wave is that the Coca-Cola Overtime Show. And we certainly want to thank Coke as the corporate sponsor and all the other many fine folks that are engaged and have been for the past 2 years with the Overtime Show. In basketball, we've got all those other folks that we never hear from in the fall season. The Southwest, the Tiny Avalons, the Meadvilles, the Northwestern Amendons, the Hales, the Bramers, and on and on and on the list goes. So tune in for the Coca-Cola Overtime Show each and every Friday night. Begins around 9 o'clock and normally goes at least 2 hours until 11, or you could also go to the website and catch it at 105.9 The Wave. Click on the Wave TV button. So any final remarks, Mr. General Manager?
Well, we just want to say a big thank you to you, Chuck, for doing the show. I think it's been very well. We've gotten a really good response out of it, and we're appreciative to all the guests that have come to be with Chuck on the show. And I'm really happy. I think it's worked out really well, and we're thankful to you for doing it.
Well, it really has, and I know your idea was let's put On the Street on the radio. And, well, we have kind of sort of, because I used to do interviews, but we've had some great guests. And that's what makes the program. Not you or I or Jim Bligh. It's the people that we bring on that get to talk about whatever it may be. Just like I've heard comments already about the Salvation Army and the Red Kittle Drive. And we're giving people an opportunity they haven't had before. So that's what it's about. It's about them and, of course, Chillicothe and the area. So thank our sponsors, thank you, and thank the owners of the Wave 105.9 for letting it all happen. And we'll see you next Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. when our special guest will be Brian Sherrill, Chillicothe High School principal.